This is Stefan Mihailo, news director of the South Shore Press, and joining us for our podcast this week is Adam DeMarsico. Adam, before we get to your efforts to create
Yes.
a Gold Star family license plate in New York, I want you to share a little bit about your brother, who was killed tragically by an IED while defending freedom here and around the world in Afghanistan. Can you share with us, our South Shore Press listeners who never knew your brother, just about the beauty of the man that he was?
I mean, we grew up in a small town of North Adams, Massachusetts. Not much really going on. Very quiet suburb part of the western state of Massachusetts. So my brother always had a plan. As soon as 9/11 happened, that he was going to join the military. He wanted to join the army. He had a lot of plans to go forth and have a career of it. We always used to play with plastic toy soldiers, and he just said one day, this is going to be me. We all kind of didn't really believe it until my senior year of high school, when he said, you know what, no, I'm joining. I'm sorry, I'm missing your graduation, too bad, but this is what I want to do. So then he went off to basic training in Georgia. Soon after that, he was based out of Fort Lewis, Washington, and then about 6 months later, he was shipped to Afghanistan, first deployment. He messaged my mom probably 3 or 4 months into his deployment, said, hey, I'm taking a new position. I'm going to be an EOD tech. And what that is he's searching for landmines. Unfortunately, they were clearing a field one day, and I don't know if he missed one or what happened, but he stepped on one, and that's ultimately what killed him.
Well, how passionate was your brother Michael, that servant's heart, where he said, okay, I'm going to put service over self. I'm not going to pursue my professional goals, whatever they were, to say, okay, I feel strongly about defending freedom. I'm going to join the army. How passionate of a patriot was he?
100%. That's what, I mean, it's young as 8 years old. That's what he always wanted to do. That's what he said. I'm going to make a career out of this, and this is what I'm going to do. Again, we really didn't believe that that's what he was going to do, but he stuck to his word, and he loves his country, and he loved doing what he did, and he loved defending it, and he loved all the guys that he met throughout the years and doing it. Unfortunately, it wasn't a long career, but I mean, that was his goal, and to us, he accomplished his goal.
America can never, ever repay the debt or say thank you enough to qualify the sacrifice that he made. But there have been smaller efforts. Like there was an armory, I believe, in Adams, Massachusetts, on one of the anniversaries of his death, where they named and honored him at that site. Can you take us through that day and how special it was for your family?
Our town's kind of got a couple of different things. That we have an ice skating rink that they gave to the family of another soldier that was killed in the Vietnam War. But our mayor at the time wanted us to do something. He said, I don't want to put his name on a bridge. I don't want to put his name on a road. So the armory was actually a reserve base back in the day. So they said, this is the perfect place. We grew up playing sports there, from baseball. We had football there. So he said, this is the place that, Michael grew up, and this is where he grew up playing sports. So this is what we're going to do, is we're going to honor him and put his name on this. To us, it meant the world to my entire family. We weren't expecting it. And now there's definitely a rock that sits out front with his plaque on it, and it tells every kid that goes through there what his legacy was and what he did, and this is what he did for America. And it's a blessing, and every time we drive by it, we can't do nothing but smile, because I mean, that was us as we were kids growing up through sports. So it was definitely heartwarming.
Now, you're living in New York State now, but a lot of your family is in Massachusetts. Can you share with us the process of, again, a small token of honoring your brother Michael and showing people the importance and the sacrifice of Gold Star families, about getting a license plate in the Bay State in Massachusetts when it comes to Gold Star families?
We didn't really know about it for a couple of months, and then we're all part of a Gold Star family group that said, hey, Massachusetts now has a plate that can honor your loved one. And I was like, no way. So the first thing is, we had to go to the DMV. We had to show them the slip that the military gave us. It's pretty much his death certificate. It was definitely hard to say, hey, I got this paper. I want a license plate. It's definitely it's a eerie feeling. But I mean, that's basically it. And then I was talking to one of the senators up in New York, and they said, "Wow, yeah, we don't even have that." And I said, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, no, we only have New York Gold Star family plates or mother plates, excuse me." And it's the whole part of I was able to customize it in Massachusetts. So I even had my brother's nickname in the military, which was Demar. Demarco was too long for his fellow troop members. So they deemed him Demar, and that was on our plate. So yeah, it was just a death certificate, and they gave us a gold star plate. It's not like anybody can go and get one. It's obviously monetized to gold star families and military families.
Well, and again, in a very small way, though, in a small way, how important is that marker on a license plate? 'Cause it goes far deeper, does it not, Adam? Of just saying, "Hey, we're a Gold Star family on a license plate." Every person that drives by and sees you says, "Wow, that family, someone they love deeply, made the ultimate sacrifice defending freedom."
Definitely. I mean, this goes back. I mean, it's 100% to me. It's the most important thing I'll ever put on a vehicle. It's not something that I ever thought I'd have to put on a vehicle, but to me, showing like, hey, this is another Gold Star family. To me, it's like if I go out and on the road and I see a Gold Star family, like I want to go out and say hello. A lot of people don't know what Gold Star plates are. I've had a couple of people that didn't even know what it was. So he's kind of going through and talking to him about it. But that being on my vehicle and my family's vehicle, just knowing it's there, it's him always being with us. So it's important to me.
So it seemed easy peasy in Massachusetts. You
Yes.
went, showed the paperwork, signed up, and you got a Gold Star family plate. But you mentioned talking to a state senator here in New York, and they're not available. How just either disappointed, surprised, shocked, or all of the above were you at the fact that you can't get that here in New York?
I was 100% everything. My emotions kicked in. I moved to New York. I found love, and I work in New York. So I came to the state, and I went to the DMV, and I said, "Hey, I have Gold Star plates in Massachusetts. I would like to get them in New York." And they kind of just looked at me and were like, "No, we don't do that here." And I said, "What?" And they said, "Yeah, we only do Gold Star mother plates here." Again, I get it. I get that the mothers are 100% important, but in my belief, it should be the entire family. And when I told Times Union, I said, "Hey, I'm not trying to get rid of the Gold Star Mother plate. They have their own plate. I want our own plate." So it was definitely a shock. I definitely broke down a little bit. I even had thoughts of my mom still lives in Massachusetts. I was even willing to go back to Massachusetts and register my truck there just to have my Gold Star plate because that is to me it just means everything. Like I said, it's a sense that he's still with me, so not having it, I just feel like I feel disconnected. I feel weird when I go to my mom's house and they all have their Gold Star family plates and I'm showing up with a regular New York State license plate. It doesn't sit right with me. So I made this vow to myself and every Gold Star family in New York where I said, this is going to change and I don't care what I have to do, but I'm going to do it.
And you mentioned the Times Union. That's the Albany Times Union, the newspaper that, from a journalistic perspective, we always say your story appeared in that
Correct.
paper as well. You mentioned, Adam, the Gold Star mothers. And can you just stress the point that this effort, your effort to create a Gold Star family plate, basically parallels those efforts? That in no way, shape, or form, obviously, it's a blessing that Gold Star mothers get to have their plate, but isn't it just as important for families to have a similar plate?
100%. 100% important. I feel like I'm being like pushed aside. Like, yes, the mothers deserve their play. I 100% respect that. I will never change that. I will never ask them to change that. But I mean, I was a sibling. I want to be included in this as well. So if I have to create an own plate, a different plate, which I did, then that's what I want to do. Again, they can keep their plate or they can join the Gold Star family plate. I mean, it's totally up to them is what they want to do. I'm not trying to change anything about that, but I just want to be able to honor my brother like they can honor their son or daughter.
And the South Shore Press went to the Google machine and looked up all the different license plates you can get in New York State. And there's a lot of them, actually. You mentioned Gold Star Mothers, but I just want to give you the list of some of the plates that they have. There's custom plates for PETA. So their owners drive around and say, "Hey, please don't kill animals." And again, not passing judgment in any way, shape, or form on that issue. But there is a plate for PETA. Ham radio operators, podiatrists, Tesla Club owners. You get a plate for your Zodiac sign, and even a custom plate for the New York State Conference of Operating Engineers, but not one for Gold Star families. Again, not passing judgment on any of those issues whatsoever, not saying some are important, some are not. But what are your feelings on the fact that those causes or efforts have a plate in New York, but not one for Gold Star families?
It's honestly crazy to me, because when I was talking to a couple of representatives, they even stated that this is trying to been passed since 2009, and we're still in limbo. Somebody finally brought it back in 2013. I don't know whatever happened to that, and now we're just still sitting here since January of 2024, beginning of 2024, and we're still not moving. I don't understand how this isn't a set in stone, like we need to do this type of thing. I don't get it. I wish they would just say, hey, you know what? This is right. This is what we need to do. We're going to do it. I even have a mock up of the license plate. I have a metal license plate at home. Like, well, I have the design, I have everything. But for some, I don't know. I mean, it definitely drives me crazy that there's all these license plates, but there's not one for Gold Star families. It blows my mind.
Wait, you designed a Gold Star family. So basically, if even if your design is accepted, all New York State would have to do is pass a resolution, tell the DMV, print this plate. You went so far as to design it?
So I reached out to a guy on TikTok. His name is Ethan Kraft. He's actually the one. I told him, I said, I can't draw. I'm very bad at drawing. My dad can draw, but this guy only does license plates. He literally drew a mock design, and then another guy commented on his video and said, hey, I do replica license plates. Tell him to reach out to me. I will do them for free. So I actually have a metal Gold Star plate that's digitized from what Ethan did on a license plate. I literally have a license plate for that, and then I also have one that's a next of kin plate that soldiers that were killed at home due to suicide or car accidents, they can also get a plate. I literally have both of them on a metal plate in my house.
Now, I can understand, Adam, a hyper partisan or hyper political issue that may divide Democrats and Republicans in the New York State legislature. I get it. People have their ideological beliefs, they're set in stone. I actually respect that, regardless of the issue. But creating a plate for Gold Star family seems to be the polar opposite of that. Adam, from your perspective, is this not an important issue that is the farthest thing from political, honoring Gold Star families in this way?
I believe it's the farthest thing from political. I mean, in my opinion, I don't care if a Democrat wants to join the bill or if a Republican wants to join the bill. I just want it passed. I just want it done as soon as possible. That way, there's so many people that I've talked to, Gold Star families in New York, that want this done because they want to honor their loved one, where they're the mother can. But for some reason, New York just doesn't want to do it. I don't know. I don't know what the issue is or why it's taking so long to pass this. I don't think this should be divided by politics. I mean, this is an important thing to me and to all the families that lost somebody at war or at home. So I think it should get passed. I don't think it matters about Republicans or Democrats or what somebody believes in. It's an important thing to military. It's an important thing to the families that have lost somebody to get this done and get it done as soon as possible.
You know, Adam, that's a really important point that you make because from a purely political perspective, I mean, this is a fact. We're not passing judgment, but this is a fact. But the Democratic Party controls the Assembly, the Senate, and the governor's office, Kathy Hochul, a Democrat. So nothing can pass in New York State. I mean, nothing. Whether it's a bill about the MTA, transportation, crime, or Gold Star families, without a Democrat majority passing it. So, what would you say to those lawmakers, a passionate plea about the importance of passing this legislation that would allow the printing of a Gold Star family license plate?
My plea would just be like, hey, again, this has nothing to do with politics or sides or whoever it is. I mean, there's people that go to war all the time that are Democrats, Republicans, liberals. I mean, they're everywhere. It doesn't matter what you are. I mean, if you still die and you're a resident of a state, you should be able to still honor your loved one by saying, hey, we have a plate for you. We don't, it's not something that it's a good thing to give, but it makes that family feel like they're whole again. It makes them feel that their loved one is still with you. And then when you go out of state and you see all the different Gold Star plates and everybody recognizes you and say, hey, you're a Gold Star family too, just like us. It brings up conversation. It brings up, those happiness times with your loved one. And I just, I'm just at loss of words as to why it's still sitting there. And
The fact is, this is the last thing you want to be fighting for. Never
Correct.
in a million years, in your worst nightmares, did you and your family even want to be in the position of fighting for your brother Michael like this? But you are, and it's a noble endeavor, and it seems like a no brainer to pass in the state. So, what are your next steps when it comes to possibly talking to lawmakers, being open to talk to anybody who will listen and say, "Hey, could you please honor not just my family, but all families who lost a loved one in battle to create this license plate?"
I mean, I think as far as right now, I mean, again, still talk to people is my next step. We do have a law firm called Statewide Public Affairs is actually going to take this on as well, and I'm meeting with him Friday, and we're going to go over his options. He's actually doing it pro bono, which is awesome. The news articles are definitely helping to get the word out there, and it's definitely spreading because my phone has nonstop ringing since yesterday.
Yeah, from the South Shore
Uh,
Press calling you and your family saying, "Hey, can you talk on
but no, it's not just you. I mean, it's everybody that wants to do a story. They want to do an interview. They want to meet. They want to see the plates. They want to go over everything. It's definitely a lot that's been happening in the last 24 hours, and I couldn't be more thankful. But if I didn't push for this and I didn't come up with a plate or a design, I feel like we would still be in stage one. Again, I mean, I didn't hear back from Ashby's office in over, I think it was almost a year. And I said, hey, I'm taking the steps. Like, I got the design. I'm getting replica plates, and this is what we need to do. Like, I'm for this. I want to do it, and I will never stop fighting until this is done. I'm sticking up for all the families in New York and the Gold Star families that haven't had a voice on this, and seeing how it's been going since 2009. I'm not going to stop until it's done. This is 100% effort on my part, and I will do anything and everything it will take to get this done.
Well, God bless you and your family, and just keep us
Thank you.
posted on
Oh,
whatever
100%.
efforts when it comes doing that. We greatly appreciate the time, and God bless you and your family again for your brother Michael making that ultimate sacrifice. This is Adam DeMarsico joining us on the South Shore podcast. Adam, any last parting thoughts about the love that you and your family have for your brother and what a great man that he was? For your brother and what a great man that he was.
He was just an awesome person. Unfortunately, he was killed. I think it was 6 months shy before his 21st birthday, so we didn't really get them celebrations. I mean, holidays are still difficult. My dad doesn't do taps. We don't do funerals. It definitely is. It's still a part of us, and I mean, almost 14 years later, we still feel the hurt and the burden of it. And again, I mean, this would just mean the world to. I mean, no, my family's in Massachusetts and they have their Gold Star plates, so it's definitely going to mean more to me and the other Gold Star plates families out there. So we're ready to get this done. We're ready to push for it.
Well, God bless you guys, and certainly that fight again. Adam DeMarsico on the South Shore podcast. Please, for this and other stories across New York State, just go to our website southshorepress.com, and thank you so much for joining us. God bless. All right, now hold tight,
Yeah, I'm not going.
hold tight. Man, you're a seasoned.
He was just an awesome person. Unfortunately, he was killed. I think it was 6 months shy before his 21st birthday, so we didn't really get them celebrations. I mean, holidays are still difficult. My dad doesn't do taps. We don't do funerals. It definitely is. It's still a part of us.
Well, God bless you guys, and certainly that fight again. Adam DeMarsico on the South Shore podcast. Please, for this and other stories across New York State, just go to our website southshorepress.com, and thank you so much for joining us. God bless.